Greetings everyone. My name is Tae Ung Yoon, Director of KOTRA Dallas. I'd like to thank you for joining us and welcome everyone to our main pitch event, Innovation Korea. Although we cannot meet and discuss face to face COVID-19 pandemic, this contact-free virtual event might serve as an effective alternative for the time being. I am excited to showcase innovation from Korea and believe our program will help Korean startups designate Texas as a potential landing spot. A very appreciative thank you to all our coaches, mentors, and judges for taking the time to offer support and guidance to our Korean startups. I'm very eager to hear any feedback that will help further improve our companies. This event organized jointly with Bisang Global and MediaTech Ventures. I would like to express my gratitude to them. We could not have created such a meaningful program without their collective efforts. I hope everyone here today enjoys the program and finds something that interests you. I look forward to connecting with you during the networking event. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Director Yoon. Um, uh, Thank you for that amazing introductory speech. A little bit about myself. I'm Moses Park, and I am the CEO and founder of Bisang Global. Bisang Global is a consultancy investment firm where we help Asian startups expand their business into the US markets. So we are kind of like the bridge between Korea, Japan, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, helping these companies come to the US, find investment, find business opportunities. And we also provide visa support, relocation support, and everything they need to make sure that they feel that they are at home away from home. And that is our motto, to make sure everyone feels comfortable and they can succeed. Um, this is our fourth year KOTRA, and this event is sponsored by KOTRA, which is the Korea Trade and Relations Investment Agency. And we had a great opportunity to work with KOTRA and to bring this Innovation Korea this year to you guys. Due to COVID, this event is held virtually, but we were able to get 12 amazing Korean startups, coach them, mentor them, and also prepare them for this pitch event. Today, we have some amazing judges and also some great speaking opportunities as well. And we just hope that you enjoy these startup pitches and also stick around afterwards during the networking session to talk more with these startups and learn more about Korea and what Korea has to provide in regards with innovation. At this moment, I'm going to bring on to the stage Paul Bryan from MediaTech Ventures to talk about the difference, the Texas difference when it comes to startup and investment. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. So while we wait for Paul, might be some technical difficulties there. I want to thank everybody for showing up today. This is a very interesting event. We're really excited to showcase a lot of what's going on in Korea and abroad. Our first event of many. And as some of you may or may not know, Central Texas is an incredible place for startups, an incredible place to get Paul O'Brien on stage through a very solid and technical fashion. So I'm going to throw it over to him now and go back into the background behind the curtain.
Disappear into the background. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you very much. I'm chuckling a bit because one of the great reasons for our hosting in this way through Remo, thank you to Restream, as well to LinkedIn and Facebook, is that in this world that we've lived in for the past 16 or so months, we've had to learn how to use this technology as best we can, haven't we? And we're going to continue to do that. The world has become a lot smaller in the last 2 years, hasn't it? As many, many different countries have increasingly worked together. And with the United States, I'd love to talk to you a little bit about MediaTech Ventures' point of view on these changes first. And then I wanted to give you a sense for what's been going on in Texas, because there is something magical going on in this part of the world in particular. I think that's evident in a great many ways, but perhaps no more evident than simply in the fact that so many countries, companies, and people throughout the United States have been moving to Texas in particular. And it's been an honor for the past 4 days in particular to work so closely with so many startups from Korea, mentors from Korea, as well as Bisang and KOTRA. But a particular honor because it's wonderful to know how close KOTRA is to those of us in Austin, Texas, our friends in Dallas. And I share that because I'm in a pop-up studio in Houston, Texas. I drove over to Houston, Texas for the day, and I wanted to give you all a sense for what it means to have such proximity and how being close to one another digitally is just as powerful and just as meaningful as being close to one another in person. That we can leverage these technologies in media and in streaming and in remote work. We can leverage such technologies in the same way that we have been for decades in meetups and networking events. And that's a lot of what we're doing on behalf of startups and mentors and venture capitalists. My name is Paul O'Brien. I'm the CEO of MediaTech Ventures, and so welcome. Jacob, you want to take us to the next slide, please? I'd love to give you a sense first to our passion and our mission for MediaTech Ventures in our work with Bisang and indeed our passion for Korea. That for the last 20 or 30 years, the world has largely neglected what we refer to as the creative class. And this is obvious, I think, to many of us in the context of what's happened to our artists, our musicians, perhaps venues. Photography has struggled with the innovation of digital media. But it's much more substantial than the artists and the creatives themselves. This creative class is what our economists have started to refer to as the next generation of our economy. That if you think of the eons or the epochs of our economy for the last 100 years or so, you probably can recognize the fact that most recently we've been largely in what's referred to as the service industry, the service economy. A lot of hospitality businesses, a lot of restaurant businesses, a lot of travel. Before that, you're probably familiar with the fact that the industrial age brought forth what we refer to as the manufacturing era, the industrial era, and we produced a tremendous amount that enables our economy to do what it does today. Previous to that, you might think simply as the world and our economy as being agrarian, the agriculture economy. And this chart, as you can tell, highlights how substantially that's been changing in the last couple of decades. With these creatives, these people with technical, artistic, storytelling, design, skill sets in the arts, but also in history, in publishing, in storytelling, in advertising, these skill sets are becoming much, much more important throughout the world. And folks like Jack Ma, Mark Cuban have reiterated to a great degree how critical it is that we do not neglect this creative class, that these skill sets are going to become almost critical to the future of humanity as technologies such as robots, artificial intelligence, bots on the internet, as technology enables us to take over many of the jobs that we've had in the past. Our young people, our next generations are going to depend on skill sets that are both creative and technical. This is the passion that drives what we do in MediaTech Ventures. Let's take a look at the next slide, Jacob. If you take a look at this next chart, what we've been plotting for some time are two concepts that, of course, accelerated in the past 16 months. Concept number one in red is the future of work and what's going to happen thanks to the fact that our world has gotten a lot smaller. We've all started to use Facebook a lot more, and we're connecting through things like Zoom and Remo and Restream. But what's interesting is when you correlate that with a concept referred to as a digital transformation. Digital transformation is not a new idea. A digital transformation is something that big companies, enterprise companies, have been talking about with the big five consulting firms, expensive consulting firms, for decades. That enterprise organizations of all kinds, manufacturing companies, food and beverage companies, travel companies, transportation companies, construction companies, companies of all kinds have to go through a digital transformation thanks to what the internet has enabled. Thanks to the fact that even if you're not terribly savvy with a website or online media, the fact is you're using software as a service, you're using a CRM, you're using analytics, you're using technology thanks to the internet, that it requires that a company become much more digital than was once the case. What we're fascinated by in MediaTech Ventures in our work on behalf of startups is the pace at which the future of work and this idea of a digital transformation nearly mirror one another in terms of the change, the adoption, and the passion that people have for those two concepts. We like the fact that they're overlapping. We like the fact that the future of entrepreneurship, the future of mentorship, the future of and investment depends on our ability to transform and embrace what is digital, and depends on our understanding of what the future of work looks like and our ability to work in ways such as this. Next. To do that, we've been working for a number of decades with a great many other startup programs. And we continue to do so. We're pretty heavily involved with some of the programs that you see here on the left. Founder Institute, for example, Bunker, a diversity incubator called Div Inc. We serve as mentors, we serve as directors, we serve as investors in a great many startup programs, because what we've been endeavoring to learn over the past 5 or 10 years is how can we create the best experience for a founder? How can we put together the right set of mentors and teachers and experiences, the right curriculum, the right partnerships and collaborations, such as our work with KOTRA and Bisang? How can we do that on behalf of startups like those that you see on the right? Just to give you a sense for some of the companies that we work with, most of those in media, a great many of those have raised seed funding as a result of our program. But we're not here to talk too much in detail about our program. So let's take a look at the next slide too, please. In addition to working with startup programs and developing startups, our team and our partners is comprised of experience and relationships in companies such as these. Hopefully you can recognize that these companies are media savvy, media centric, media oriented companies. And that certainly is on purpose given the focus of our work. But I wanted to stress and highlight this with you because it's what is missing in healthcare and fintech and transportation and all of the other different industries. It's what's missing by way of these companies. It's what's missing by way of that digital transformation. It's what's missing in understanding how engaging with these companies. It's that which is missing that matters most to the impact that we're going to have on everyone in the future. That these companies are the storytellers. These companies are the influencers. These companies create the cultures of our countries, whether those countries are Korea or the United States, or even if they're the vastly different cultures of places like Michigan, California, and Texas, and what it means to be in a vast country such as the United States. We're going to touch on that a little bit. Let's take a look at the next slide, please. I grew up in Michigan. It's why I mentioned that place in particular. And for those of you not as familiar with the United States as those of us here, I like to share this with many of our founders and many of our relationships in other countries, because it's always helpful to ground our understanding of a place literally just based on how we think of the size and scale and scope of the country with which we're engaging. I've got Korea, Korea obviously on the left-hand side there. And what I've done just for fun is I've overlaid Korea with where I grew up, Michigan, in the upper right-hand corner of the country there. That's my sense of place. That's my familiarity, that it takes an hour to drive across Michigan from one side of the state to the other to visit a place like Detroit, Michigan. That John Cesaro, who introduced himself, John Cesaro is up there in Chicago. It's about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to get from one end of that to the other. That sense of place gives you a wonderful sense of scale and opportunity when you can appreciate what it means to be in a region of the world from that perspective. It gives you a sense for how many different people you can connect with, what kind of industries you can engage with, what kind of companies are involved in that part of the world. But of course, innovation didn't find itself at home in Michigan, did it? For the last 20 or 30 years. Let's take a look at the next slide. It didn't find itself at home for the last 20 or 30 years in Michigan. No, it found itself in the United States, in this part of the world, Silicon Valley. And so what we want to do is we want to start with a scale of Silicon Valley. And here's what we're looking at with regard to that part of the world. I spent about a dozen years up and down that peninsula on the left-hand side. That's San Francisco up on the top. You might be very, very familiar with San Francisco in the context of innovation, in particular because of the Salesforce Tower that now dots the skyline of San Francisco. Hopefully you know San Francisco well for many other reasons. But it's a good hour and a half south of that. Hour and a half, note that. An hour and a half drive south of there that we find Palo Alto and San Jose, really the heart of Silicon Valley. That's where most of the venture capital ecosystem exists in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley. That's where we find Yahoo and Google and Facebook, Amazon and eBay, Adobe. Many of the companies that you're familiar with by way of Silicon Valley are actually down that peninsula, that far away from San Francisco. That's a good distance. And in that scope of the map that I've shared with you, we actually comprise about 4 major cities. Let's take a look at the next slide. 4 major cities. So why Texas? Why Texas? This is Austin. We skimmed past it real quick. If we could go back. Why Austin? If we look at the map of Silicon Valley and we compare it to a map of Austin of the same size, what we actually have is a tremendous amount of room to grow. Let me say that again, room to grow. Because it's that room to grow, to expand, to connect, to develop. It's that mindset that's actually most critical to startups and entrepreneurs, appreciating that there is opportunity, that there's potential to be something more. That map on the left is the equivalent scale, it's the equivalent size of the map on the right. And as all of this attention is moved towards places like Austin, Texas, or Texas in general, it's important to appreciate the difference in the size and scope. Austin is actually a relatively small place by comparison. But that's not the reason for Texas. That's not the reason to be excited about this part of the world. Let's take a look at the next slide. As we think of size and scope of regions of the world, it's helpful to appreciate the history of those economies. Because most people don't appreciate that a place like Silicon Valley or a place like New York or a place like Los Angeles isn't actually best for absolutely everything. A lot of people consider Silicon Valley a hub of technology, or Los Angeles the hub of entertainment in the United States. And while that's true, it's not necessarily true in all regards, is it? That they actually do certain things really well at the expense of other things. What you have on the left-hand side is a quick history of Silicon Valley. The military invested in that part of the world, bringing forth radar and the microwave, which invented the microchip, which created the computer, which caused the internet to emerge, which in turn caused people to build a lot of websites and figure out what to do with smartphones and smart devices as a result of that. That is Silicon Valley's expertise. On the right-hand side, you see some of the history of Austin. And if you think of how these experiences, these industries compound upon one another, what you have is a progression that's similar to what Silicon Valley did. Similar in the sense that on the right-hand side, the military, along with the work of the government, helped develop the energy industry, but certainly made investments as well as the microchip along the same time that Silicon Valley leveraged that from, yes, Chris Howard, the British who invented radar, but the military investment in companies in Silicon Valley. Chris Howard in our chat. In Silicon Valley brought forth the microchip and the semiconductor in the context that it was used in the computer. And thanks to those folks through DARPA. Austin found its heart in the arts, though, didn't it? With music, live music capital of the world, and South by Southwest. And so as the internet merged in Silicon Valley, Austin stayed a little bit more focused on the arts in the future, in the sense that we developed a lot of the enterprise software companies that you might be familiar with, and then even found ourselves into things like CPG, consumer packaged goods. The narrative, the parallel of those industries, the history of those industries building upon one another might not be as clear, might not be as apparent as compounding and creating potential for the future, but that future will become apparent in just a few minutes. Let's take a look at the next slide, please. I keep talking about scope and scale for a reason. Remember the size and scope of Korea, or the size and scope of Michigan, the size and scope of Silicon Valley. Investment in the United States is a matter of scale. It really is. You know, being among the largest geographic regions in the world as a country, being among the largest economic regions in the world as a country, being a part of the United States is a substantial step in the growth of an entrepreneur or a company. And so it can be challenging to appreciate, and that's the work that we do. It can be challenging to appreciate that all of these different regions mean very different many things. They have different costs of living. They have different expectations on the part of the investors. They have different industries in those parts of the world. Anecdotally, for example, most companies in the United States incorporate in a little tiny state in the northeastern seaboard of the United States called Delaware. Why Delaware? Legal reasons, frankly. It's one of the things that we teach in these programs. But in Delaware, of all places, a place where you might never spend any time at all, a place where you're not likely to open an office. So why Delaware? Legal reasons. Whether you're in California or Michigan, impacts your valuation in some respects. Your proximity geographically, your proximity through technologies such as Remo and streaming. Your proximity helps determine the kind of companies and mentors you connect with, the kind of market share you can easily get in the first days of your venture. Where you are in the world helps determine the kind of companies that are more likely to get to know you and possibly acquire you. All of those things impact what you do and what your future looks like as a founder and as a startup. And in the United States, on the venture capital side of the ecosystem, that scale and that significance of size is important because most investors are looking for as much as a 15x return on investment. $1 million invested in, for example, getting $15 million back. That's a sizable growth. That is certainly possible through a place like the United States. Many other places in the world have accomplished as much, of course. But in the United States, the real question is, how can we find ourselves in the right region to make the right connections, to find the right mentors, to establish the right partnerships with companies in order to connect with the right investors that are going to help us scale throughout the country and throughout the market in which we work so that we can achieve that kind of return. Let's take a look at the next slide and bring it back home a little bit. Bring it back home to Austin. Here's the map of Austin again. And what I've plotted here as we get to know Austin by way of Korea, what I've plotted here are most of the major technology companies and venture capital firms. Notice downtown Austin, the place that most are familiar with, is actually there at the bottom of the map where it says Austin, right over the downtown, the urban core, if you will, of the city. The majority of technology companies, mentors, and investors actually find themselves on these pins that I put on the map. Understanding where you are, where you're going to be, and the size and scope and scale of that ecosystem matters. And this is why, to appreciate that being just in downtown Austin or just in downtown Seoul, I imagine, leaves a lot of opportunity behind, doesn't it? We need to just get up the road. We need to connect with some more people, connect with some more companies in order to find ourselves amongst the peers that matter most to startups. That size and scope is critical. Let's take a look at the next one, please. Here's why I've perhaps confusingly focused your attention on real small regions of the world, and then blown it back up into bigger regions of the world. And then I've focused it back on small regions of the world and then grown it back out to bigger regions of the world. This is why I'm excited about Texas in particular. This is why I'm excited that KOTRA is up in Dallas, why I happen to be in Houston right now on the right side of that map, why many of us are based in Austin there in the middle of the map, and why San Antonio on the lower left-hand corner is one of the 10 largest cities in the entire country. That scale and that scope of cities and companies and economic impact is greater than any other region in the entire country. This is the fastest growing metropolitan region in the United States. And we want to work closely with Korea to bring more of your work and your innovation and your potential into the United States to the opportunity that's developing in this part of the world. Let's take a look at the next slide. Because while I gave you a bit of the history of Austin, this is actually the strength of Texas. We can barely even put a pin on how history and innovation ties these things together. Music and entertainment, obviously. Sports and wellness makes some sense. Food and beverage is a tremendous industry in Texas. Education, government, real estate, all of that growth throughout Austin and Texas is causing real estate innovation, smart cities, smart homes, transportation to boom. Space, data science, cybersecurity. These are the industries that define this part of the world. These are the industries that distinguish this part of the world for founders and investors and companies out of Korea in a way that's distinct from what you might experience in other states or other regions of the United States. And if you needed any more evidence of that, I'm not going to read the list because you can read it quite simply yourself. At the bottom of that slide are many of the companies and individuals that have decided to call this part of the world home in just the last 18 months. Major companies, investors, and individuals in innovation are relocating to this part of the world because these industries, by way of a digital transformation, by way of their embrace of media, these industries are the future of the world and the future of economy. Let's take a look at the next one as I start to wrap up a little bit. Thank you. Why am I so excited to work with KOTRA and Bisang? Why am I so excited to work with Korea? Because when I take that map again, just as a cute, simple way to appreciate the size and scope of place, Korea is right at home in that triangle, as we refer to it, of Texas, with Dallas at the top of that map, San Antonio at the bottom of that map, Houston on the right side, and Austin right smack in the middle of it. Your experience and your familiarity with Korea is going to make you completely familiar and comfortable with what it means to work with Dallas and Houston and Austin and San Antonio in just a matter of weeks as you start to engage with this part of the world. And from there, through our relationships in the rest of the country, we connect you with California, Chicago, New York, Nashville, Seattle, and so forth. Take a look at the next slide. I'm not going to read the next slide for the sake of time. You can read it. These are some of the why Texas reasons that matter. These are some of the reasons that people are moving to this part of the world. I'm not going to read it in detail again because you can, but let me highlight a few of these. I mentioned the first one, 5 of the 11th largest. Why did I say 11? Austin is number 11, the 11th largest city in the country. Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio comprise the rest. The largest cities in the United States are growing in this part of the world. We're the 2nd largest state by population, 9th largest country in the world. Think about that for a second. The state of Texas is the equivalent of the 9th largest country in the world by way of economic impact, as well as by exports. We have nearly as many Fortune 500 companies. Fortune 500 companies in the United States are the major companies that Fortune magazine tracks. As many as California and New York will likely eclipse that soon. We're a major hub for medical innovation. You can see a substantial hub for renewable energy. You can see that as well. We're the hub in the United States for cybersecurity, defense innovation, military-related initiatives. And of course, we're very familiar with the fact that thanks to Elon Musk's attention on what's going on in this part of the world, NASA, Johnson Space Center, Firefly, Spaceport Houston, a tremendous number of innovations are taking us off this planet to another scale entirely with regard to other planets and what it looks like beyond the world that we work in now. Take a look at the next slide. I'm going to wrap up in just a couple of more, so thank you very much for your attention. As I mentioned, we take you from Texas. We want to take you from that size and scope with which we can get you very quickly familiar. Austin, Dallas, Houston, our friends in this part of the world, to our friends in California, New York, Chicago, and so forth. And we do that not just through venture capital, because venture capital is shifting. Venture capital's expectation of a return on investment near 15 times or 20 times a return is not the same as the expectation of a return on investment from corporate investors. And so we, of course, work with many different people throughout the country and throughout the world in media innovation and in media companies who want to invest in the kinds of things that startups that we know are doing. Companies want to invest. And that's why you're going to meet a few of the other incredible companies and their venture groups this evening in just a little bit, because we want to make sure that you're connecting not just with venture capital firms and investors expecting or seeking greater returns, but you're connecting with the companies who can collaborate, who can partner, and who can work with you to build enduring, successful innovations that are going to impact the world at the same size and scope and scale that we're seeking in this part of the world and throughout the country. How we do that very quickly, let's take a look at the next slide. How we do that very quickly as far as MediaTech Ventures is concerned, just to give you a touch, just to give you a sense for what we do. Moses shared the fact that we're a public and private partner, that we're working together with KOTRA, with startups, with mentors, with friends in Korea, with friends throughout the United States, to build an ecosystem in which entrepreneurs can learn and thrive. On the left-hand side is the point that matters. How we do that is we connect with the people. We teach you the skill sets. We connect with and put in place the physical infrastructure that helps you thrive. We bring forth tools, resources, platforms, and partners to help you scale even more. And we promote this industry in ways such as this. We promote what's going on in Korea. We promote what's going on at South by Southwest, which is going on right now in Austin, Texas. We promote innovation because it's that promotion at a macroeconomic level that helps investors and companies find a greater return on behalf of their investment and their support of startups. On the right-hand side is a more complicated visual of our framework, our methodology that you'll get to know a lot more as you work with us. It's essentially a model of what you see on the left-hand side and how putting together those 5 things enable us to have data and insight to who and what and where things are working. Data that feeds up as actionable intelligence to those capital markets, to investors, to companies, and even to public sources of capital, such as the federal government, the Korean government, city, state, and other local governments that are trying to invest in the support of entrepreneurs and innovators. How do we do that? In our program, we do that in 3 simple tranches. Take a look at the next one. 3 simple tranches. Our learning in working through and with many other incubators and accelerators, our learning was to develop a proprietary curriculum that involves a tremendous amount of work. I'll caution you, a good 60, 50 hours of work a week to make sure that in 14 weeks or so, you go from an idea or a pivot or an MVP or a launch in the United States to a successful company in just 13 or 14 weeks. That's a lot of different subject matter. That's a lot of work to get done. And we do it with hundreds of mentors on your behalf. We do it with 10 teachers who are subject matter experts so that you learn from people who do this for a living how to accomplish these 3 things as successfully and meaningfully as possible. Those 3 tranches, we focus first for weeks on marketing to make sure you're familiar with the market in which you find yourself, the competitive landscape, the potential investors and partners, potential team members in this market, in this ecosystem in which you're building a startup. We then develop all that it means to be a company through a tranche referred to as development. The legal considerations, the incorporation considerations, developing a CRM, developing a landing page, developing your capital considerations. And then we produce a company with you. We produce your pitch deck. We produce your messaging. We produce your campaigns. We produce your go-to-market strategies. We produce all that is required to get you from this early stages of venture into a new country or into the attention of investors who are excited about the work that you're doing. And we couldn't do that, next, as I wrap up, we couldn't do that without a tremendous amount of gratitude and collaboration with these folks right here. With Bisang Global, who I've mentioned repeatedly on purpose. Moses, who you've gotten to know just very briefly since he popped in at the beginning of our event tonight. Ronald Lim as well, thank you. Our friends from KOTRA, a tremendous thank you to you. And our team at MediaTech Ventures, as well as a great many friends and partners in these companies, in these startup incubators, in Los Angeles, where Ted Cohen finds himself, in Chicago, where John finds himself, in Dallas, in Houston, where many other team members on our part, Brian Hammer, Lauren Postler, here in Austin, where a great many of us find ourselves. We couldn't do it without working with you all together, so thank you. My name is Paul O'Brien. I'm here for the night. On behalf of MediaTech Ventures, I'm excited to turn it over back to Moses to introduce what we're going to be doing with some startups and some great companies that are going to give us a sense for their perspective on what these startups are up to. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. And it's amazing to learn just how great Texas is in regards with startups, technology, investment, getting the nickname Silicon Hills here in Austin as well. About the pitch competition event. So we have 12 Korean startups who will be pitching in front of a panel of judges. Our judges are Michael Falcon, Managing Director of LG Ventures, Diana Swenton, Ventures at Dell Technologies Capital, Ted Cohen, Head of Corp Dev at MediaTech Ventures, Gianna Liu, Senior Advisor and Managing Director at CDX Advisors, and Chris Howard, Founder and CEO at The Rattle, Elijah Kim, Partner at LVLON Ventures, and Joseph Daniels, Partner and Co-Chair of VC Emerging Companies Group and at McCarthy, deals in billions of dollars in exit and acquisition for companies as well. So these judges will be judging these 12 startups. We're going to do 6 startups to begin with, do a panel talk with some of these judges, and then finish out with the rest of the 6 startup companies. Please stick around afterwards to meet with the startups and also hold your questions and any comments you have for the networking reception event afterwards. Because the startups will only have 5 minutes to pitch. There will be no Q&A. We'll just go one after another and hopefully pretty early today, so you guys have an opportunity to talk with one another. So without further ado, our first startup will be Pop, with Yoon representing that company. Do we have Pop here? All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Great. So I'll get started. Thanks, everyone, for being here, attending. My name is Yoon Lee, CEO and founder of Pop, also recent graduate of UT, Hook 'em Horns. Pop is a mobile application where students make genuine and long-lasting friendship. We created it to solve problem of loneliness and isolation. Pop is currently #1 social app for college friends on the App Store, attracting more than 3,000 students across 4 universities in Texas that we're targeting. I'm very excited to share my continuing mission with all of you tonight. Now, as a student, I witnessed and experienced the problem of loneliness and isolation among college students. And this is a serious mental health problem that could lead to depression and even commit suicide. Next slide. Even before COVID, 64% of the college students have reported they have felt very lonely in college, and suicide rate has doubled in last 8 years. This rate is going up every single year, and it's more apparent in our generation, teenagers and 20s. But why? Next slide. Ever since the internet was born and social media was developed, Humanity's main focus has been how to bring this one individual into this large community. And over time, we realized the cost. Current solutions focus on building quantity of the relationship in this large community, like followers on Instagram. Next. And we all know if through our experience that quantity of the relationships, having more acquaintances are not going to solve a problem of loneliness and isolation, but only the quality of the relationship. Having a couple of best friends around us, so we need to find our people and create that quality friendship. But how? Next. So how does the quality of the relationships form? We identified three most essential components forming friendship: opportunity, intentionality, and proximity. 2 years ago, I pulled out of an Excel sheets and created one-on-one matching service. And in first week, 60 people signed up and we operated for 2 months. You know, the results were surprising. Surprisingly, people didn't care about how the other person looked like. The opportunity to meet new friends, intentionality of the conversation, and the proximity was what mattered. Then we created prototype and went through Sputnik ATX, the Austin VC accelerator program, and got their funding. Through a year and a half of our research on human interaction and product innovation, we have created a solution for these three things: opportunity, intentionality, and proximity for quality friendship. Next, introducing Pop. Pop is a go-to place to make friends in college. Next, Pop creates a more diverse and broader opportunity to make friends by stripping away stereotypes through being anonymous first. People start off the conversation through interest and shared experience. Our match algorithm pair people based on campus, location, interest, and personality through personality quiz. Also, Pop gamified friendship building process. So as you talk to each other, name gets revealed and audio chat unlocks and meetup unlocks. Whenever we make decision, we have the students in mind, in our mind first. And every student that used our product told us that they feel safe and it's easy to make friends. Next. So, and that's why our app is right now #1 social app for college friends on the App Store. Those 3,000 students in Texas made 4,000 friends. And we also have recently witnessed a retention, a smile retention graph. People are coming back to our platform as the semester begin to make friends. This is an amazing sign for any social app platform because it shows the demand. Next, our business model is a part of a user experience. At the end of friendship building process, Pop will suggest a place to meet and do things together based on their location and interest. And this is a huge opportunity as it is a hyper-localized businesses. Like Nextdoor was what became $5 billion company in this business model. Total addressable market is more than $100 billion here. Next, we're looking to raise $1 million with SafeNote to transition some of our part-time developers to full-time and innovate the ways that people have been socializing. SafeNote investment will be done on a rolling basis and close when we have it all. We're here to create the world without loneliness, laying the foundation for the better future. If you're excited about our mission, want to work with us, please reach out to us. We are looking for missionaries to join our mission. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Pop. It was great learning about you. And our next company, for those of you who love nails, it's Lupin, with Is representing the company. Lupin will be up next.
Hi, I'm the CEO of Lupin Company. Next slide, please. So we develop gel nail stickers that allow people of all cultures to have beautiful nails in a simple and healthy way. Our vision is to become a global beauty tech company of eco-friendly and non-toxic cosmetics. Next, please. Currently, the nail market's problems are inconvenience, going to nail salon, not easy to get scheduled every week, and typically the whole process is taking over an hour. And doing the self-nail is so messy work. Another point is expensive to do the beautiful nails done. Average price is $30 to $100 for one-time work. Also, existing product damage nails because of strong chemicals. Next, please. To solve these problems, we are making gel nail stickers that can be easily and quickly put them on your nails at a low cost and non-toxic, unlike most product in the market. Next, please. And we have more than 5,000 designs. Next. These are the examples of our branded solutions for partners. SM is #1 entertainment agency in Korea. We made gel nail goods for the EXO members who are famous as boys singer group. Secondly, the promotional product for Netflix zombie drama Kingdom, we made zombie nail. Then the pink star from the Baskin Robbins was for event goods. Next, please. The US nail market size is $16 billion and 98 million women used the nail polish. Next, please. Competitors are for the nail polish. OPI has the best quality, but not durable. Ingoco is also 100% nail polish, but they dried up to use as a sticker. Dasindiva is famous for press-on nails. Artificial nails gives big discomfort and nail damages. Zoya and Butter are non-toxic nail polish. However, they need acetone for remover. Our product is durable and got non-toxic certifications, and harmful acetone is not needed. Next. Our competitive points are filed patents, 1 specialized in nail manufacturing, and 2 are for new concept products, and preparing some more manufacturing methods. Self-developed non-toxic materials are used. Our own recipe provides excellent adhesion and durability. Analyzing customers' data for optimizing customization. Next, please. We start with a private label business-to-business market to drive sales and growth. Develop our own brand by selling direct to customers. Our target customer changes nails every week or 2, so we will move to a subscription model. Next. For fast growth, we will make a partnership with distributors and hub brand companies. Also keep delivering products to brand companies through white labeling. As for the marketing, we will do targeted advertisement for finding more new customers. Next. This is our assumption to make money for coming 3 years. From this year, we will test and start selling product direct to customers, while keep making money from beauty or brand companies. After that, we are expected to make bigger portion of selling target from companies to customers, which will generate more revenue. Next, please. This is our team members. We've been working together in IT startup over 10 years. We did a little exit from the previous company, and now with all these experiences, we will disrupt this market. I studied design in Canada and in charge of communication in overseas. Naru is responsible for production and manufacturing. Jin is a system developer, and Mizu is product designer, and she's doing design with me. Next, please. Good artist copy, great artist steal. We will create a new value from the existing market. Thank you for your time today. And at the later events, love to talk about partnerships, investment, or any other opportunities to come up with. Thanks again.
All right, thank you, Lupin. Makes me want to get nails myself. For those of you who love honey and love bees, our next company is for you. Smart Hive is our next startup company to pitch. And we have Jisoo presenting for that company.
Hi, I'm Jason, the PR manager at Bisang Smart Hive. Can you believe that the job is by very manual and work without any devices in 21st century? The beekeeping is that one. Bisang Smart Hive is the company that provide and design the automated system of beekeeping. Next. We are changing every beekeeping system into easy, convenience, and automated. Next. We have a team in beekeeping, and they keep trying to make improvements on the product benefiting beekeepers around the world. Next. The major problems involved in beekeeping is that the job is very manual. It's hard, inconvenient, and has high labor intensity. Next. Our automated beekeeping system can solve their problems. Most of the work can be easy, convenient, and comfortable. The automated beekeeping system will check bees and beehives automatically and can even extract honeycomb and honey. All you need to do is just sit back and relax. The status of beehives can be checked via an easy-to-use app. Next. Now let me introduce our product. Next. The Hive controller that the automated and portable equipment for beekeeping. No need to work step by step manually. Next. We've got the Innovation Awards Honorary 2021 in robotics from CES, and I'm so proud to announce it today. Everyone can use it easily even they don't know about beekeeping. The Hive controller's main functions are extracting, brushing the bees, and loading. First, detecting automatically the honeycomb inside the hive and moves it to the top and plug. Second, using the two stick brushes rotating at the same time, remove the bees from the honeycomb safely. Lastly, the honeycomb that is extracted from the hive will load and store on the hanger of Hive controller. Next. Work with device and manual has a lot of differences, and of course, with device is easier than manual. Everyone knows about it, but why the beekeepers are not using it? The reason why there's no automatic devices for beekeeping enough. The Smart Hive found it because of it. Next. The hornet guard. The hornet guard selectively detects and kills only hornets. The visual technology will be show the conditions of hive and check the hornets. You can check this by your PC and smartphone. Next. The transport honeycombs and honey to the other place or stacking on the truck will be automated. Install the rail on the hives and then let them transport it automatically. Next. Smart Hive provide the automated managing the beehives and bees. The sensor will be managing an alarm temperature, humidity, and infected of beehive every minute, and either bees conditions. This system can check and control by your PC and smartphone either. Next. The apiculture market is continuously growing and not only applies to food and beverage. The usage of honey is increasing, but beekeeping work is still manual. There's not enough devices and it's hard to learn. The Smart Hive will change and improve beekeeping systems. Next, our market is all beekeepers around the world, whoever needs convenient equipment for beekeeping. Next, our final goal is to change all of beekeeping work into automatic. Manage the hive and the bees, protect and guard them from hornets, and even extract honeycomb and honey automatically. Next, who need help from the problems in beekeeping, just contact us. Then the beekeeping will be easier. Next, who want to be our business partner? Start smart beekeeping with Smart Hive. Thank you.
All right, makes me want to be a beekeeper myself. Our next startup is Inico, with Luca presenting for Inico. Are we good? All right, looks like Inico is here. So without further ado, I present to you Inico. Okay, looks like we might have some. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, looks like we're playing catch and mouse, cat and mouse with Inigo. So if you guys love, you know, eco-friendly health of your environment and the world, then this is the company for you. In the meantime, hopefully we'll give the judges some time to put in their grades in their grade sheets.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Individually. All right. Looks like we're having technical issues with Inigo, so we're going to go with the next company, M2S. Oh, there's.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Sorry about
Yes,
that.
we got you finally, Inigo. Okay,
My
all
network
right.
is...
No problem. Oh, she disappeared again. All right. Okay. For now, I guess we'll go with the next company. Let's do M2S. Oh.
Hi. Hi.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Let's wait 5 seconds. Seems like you keep on dropping out.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Like, can you
We're
guys hear
good.
me
We're
now?
good. All right. Inigo, it's your turn.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, you guys can hear me, right? Okay, hello. My name is Luca Gan, and I'm in charge of the overseas marketing team in Eco INC. Next slide, please. According to the EDA and WHO, indoor pollutants have been proved to be around 10,000 times more contaminating than outdoor pollutants. Due to this dangerous situation, there need to be functional, eco-friendly construction finished materials that can apply various solutions. Next, please. Ineco was established in 2014 to provide those solutions. And next slide, please. All of our members are working hard today to become a world-class company in this field through continuous development. Next, please. There are so many pollutants found indoors, and that leads to various diseases such as asthma and skin disease. And IoT technology, which is one of the biggest construction markets now, is getting bigger and bigger, but it's only concentrated for the user's convenience, not solutions for the environment of fundamental indoor spaces. Next, please. So we present today total home care solutions by the use of the IECO Smart Lighting Block, which is ISLB. ISLB integrated with IoT and LED technologies, which with IECO block that performs eco-friendly functionality. Next, please. It functions as an improvement of the indoor environment, indirect lights, monitoring and controlling the indoor environment, and messaging and alert through NFC and Wi-Fi. Next, please. If there is an anomaly with the indoor environment indoors, it communicates with the users through an alert, and it doesn't need any electricity to perform eco-friendly functionalities. Next, please. And the economical efficiency has been secured to save time and goods wasted by separate lighting constructions. Next, please. The most attractive part of ISLB is that it has very high business scalability. When applied to the public facilities, such as movie theaters or shopping malls, it can be used not only for indoor environment monitoring, but also for disaster warnings and indoor navigation. In addition, it can be expanded to other business models through big data by using the collected DV of simple users. Next, please. Currently, the global construction-related market all shows high growth rates, and we will gradually expand the scale by incorporating IoT technology. Next, please. And for the domestic market, as you can see here, the demand for the remodeling market is increasing as the number of houses older than 30 years gradually increases. We are confident that our products are suitable for this market and will be able to show high growth by being competitive in this market. Next, please. As a result of the analysis of current domestic and internationally competitive products, most of the construction materials combined with IoT technologies have not been able to establish a system that can self-check and manage indoor air quality. Next, please. Our company conducts R&D for continuous convergence technology development with new materials and new technologies, and strengthen brand awareness and expanding our network by securing sales channels, domestic and overseas. Next, please. So far, MOUs and distribution contracts have been signed with global companies in 9 countries. And next slide, please. And performance is expected to increase significantly as contracts that had been stagnant due to Corona begin to progress again. Next, please. The target amount for this investment is $5 million, and we plan to secure production by introducing an automated process through investments. Next, please. When the automated process is introduced through investment attraction, the existing network utilization will increase by securing the production volume more than 10,000 times compared to the present, and accordingly, the exit plan is established through IPO entry and M&A. Next, please. Okay, I appreciate your time and looking forward to meeting all of you later. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's great. Hopefully we can all have Inico products in our houses and make sure we're breathing clean air. Next up will be M2S with Isabel presenting for M2S. Same thing as well. If you guys love having your workplace and your company clean, this is the company for you.
너 편한 대로 해 이제. 나 옆에 없어도 돼?
어.
그래.
Hi, I'm Isabel. Hi, I'm Isabel, manager of the strategic planning from M2S. Next. Next. We have professional VR content creating team members, and based on these abilities and dedications of the last 2 years in developing medical and healthcare solutions. Next. Next. Conditions of the eyes are getting worse for many people today because use of electronic devices are increasing. The air pollution and fine dust are getting worse. Next. As we get older, eye condition gets worse, and with none of exception, 3 major eye diseases are as cataract, glaucoma, macular degeneration. Next. As we get older, eye condition gets worse, and with none of exception, 3 major eye diseases are cataract, glaucoma, macular degeneration. If you have a cataract, you can get blurry eyesight as a fog-on. If you have glaucoma, your visual field is narrow more and more. Next. The eye has features that once it gets worse, it is difficult to recover back. It is so important to have an early diagnosis and continuing care. Next. Next. The content inside the VR headset stimulates through VR HMD. Our examination algorithm for analyzing eye movement can diagnose diseases related to the ophthalmology, ophthalmology, neurology. Next. M2S has started the development of 2 solutions based on the same technology. The first one is a medical solution, which is called VROR, Virtual Reality Ophthalmic Room. This solution can be used in ophthalmic hospitals and clinics. Next. Conventional examination devices are in an analog type of structure and interfere. However, VROR is a fully digitalized solution in protocols and also its examination results. It has advantages of effectiveness in space, time, labor, and device cost. Next, please. The other one is personalized healthcare solution, iDoctor VR. We won the Best Innovation Award at CES 2021 Healthcare and Wellness category. Next. The iDoctor consists of 2 lineups, iDoctor Pro and iDoctor Lite. Pro is offered with a touchscreen kiosk and high-end VR headset including eye tracking sensors, so it can offer optimal solutions for managing personal eye care. Lite version is offered as a VR application software. You can simply download Lite version from App Store if you have VR headset with you. Next. As iDoctor providing services through the platform we developed, users of iDoctor can do eye examination, eye care service, and also offer O2O service such as telemedicine. Next. 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 Our next stage is NDI 150, which diagnoses brain diseases. Next. Innovative brain disease diagnosis and treatment to using via wearable device. This targeting brain disease diagnosis and tailored rehab therapy. Next. We will, the size of the ophthalmology market is expected to account for $5 billion by 2027. Next. 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 We will expand the business category to vascular
All right,
nerve.
well, thank you so much. Your 5 minutes are up.
Thank you so much.
And if you want to learn more about M2S, please meet with them after at the networking session. Definitely will love to use them myself to get new glasses. Our last company for this first half of the batches will be Tuple. If you have any young kids who love social media and watching videos, then this is the company for you.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm David Lee from Tuple. Today we'll Let me continue. In 2020, we faced an unprecedented situation called COVID-19. This situation led to the closer approach of the video platform to our life. And also, video platforms users are getting younger and younger. Next, please. Yeah, they want to communicate more with influencers or content creators and want to communicate even more with themselves. Next, please. Yeah, however, video platforms have limited interaction systems. In particular, YouTube has the biggest penalty to scroll down while watching videos and write comments in a separate area. Next, please. As user communication becomes important, YouTube mobile app moves the comments area like this. This also proves that the market problem we mentioned is correct, that communication is the key for success. Next, please. And Tuple is targeting this exact trend. Next. In a nutshell, Tuple is a video platform where users can communicate freely using the video player screen as a canvas. Next, please. Yeah, just like this. Viewers will experience communicating without time-dependent issue. I mean, regardless of the time they watch the video, they will be able to talk to each other like it's real time. And when these comments pile up, it becomes another content, which the creator of the original video did not expect to happen. And that is the fun part. Next, please. Video overlay comments. This is the most important feature for users to easily interact with each other. And this is our core. It's very easy to use. Just click the location you want and choose the time you want to put your word. Then put your comment. Next. And we are targeting niche markets where large companies like YouTube does not deal with, for especially detailed add-ons. And we are hosting a video contest with the largest comedy content community in Korea. And we also provide the ability to vote with our overlay comments. Next. And this is a more detailed comparison of the competitors in the market. We are working hard on the most important part, the user communication. We also expanded our service in the educational area. We created a school-assigned channel. Tutors uploaded their lecture videos, and students left their questionnaire on the lecture video. And the teacher did leave an answer. In this process, students did not have to leave the lecture video to ask any questions, and so did the teacher. By the experience, we realized once again that the interactive video platform can make a huge impact on the market. Next, please. Tupo is currently on beta service in Korea, but our business growth is rapid. We achieved the 4th biggest video platform in Korea by only 6 months. 78% of Tupo users use the video overlay comment function, and every month, record-breaking user growth is ongoing. Next, please. And we want to make more growth domestically, and the very same goes for the US market. In the US, the target is K-pop fans and esports fans. We are confident that the culture of cheering for their favorite group or team together will work just fine with our platform, and will be the perfect next step for Tupo. Next, please. And we're already generating profits in Korea with the various business models we have, and we want to maximize our profits through a donation service similar, but very different from YouTube Super Chat. Next, please. I'd like to give you more details about one more thing that we're developing, Waffle. Next, please. Waffle is a streamer donating platform that can be used for live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, as well as Tupo. Next, please. The biggest difference from current donating platform is that Waffle provides mission-based donating service. For example, you may bet $10 for your favorite streamer to make more than 10 kills for this round. And when the streamer does succeed, Waffle detects it, and $10 goes straight to your streamer automatically. Next, please. It is already under contract with several famous streamers in Korea and is planning to release it officially within May. Next, please. And basic systems, including UI, are almost completely deployed and successfully beta tested with streamers from various platforms. Next. And these are the members of our team who do their best to manage these services. Next, please. Yeah, and this was our presentation of Tupo and Wapo, and thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. Hopefully Tuple with their service Tuple and Waffle will change the streaming and live video market. Now we're gonna do a small break, get into commercial, have the panels and judges be ready, and we'll go into a panel discussion. And after that, we'll do our second half of the pitch competition. See you there.
We were trying some new tech. Some of you, it sounds like, couldn't hear it. So I apologize. It sounds like some of you might have been able to pick that up. But either way, you know, we'll you know, just imagine what it sounded like, because it was really fantastic. So we're gonna start inviting the panelists up to the stage now. We got Moses Park from Bisang Global, who's going to be moderating the panel, joined by Michael Falcon, who is managing director at LG Ventures. We got Elijah Kim, who's a partner at Levelon Ventures, and Diana Swenton from Dell Technologies Capital. And the panelists, just make sure you accept the invite to come on stage, and we'll get started here in a second. Cheers.
And we also noticed that some of you guys can't access the stream on LinkedIn. Our Facebook and YouTube and other link for the live stream are live, so please go there if you want to see this event live. All right, great. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for taking your time in being a judge and also talking on this panel. First off, why don't we go around and talk a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to where you are right now. Why don't we start with Elijah, and then going to Michael, and then going to Diana.
Sure. Just a quick tech check. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Elijah Kim. I'm a partner at Levelon Ventures, which is a multidisciplinary venture collective of entrepreneurs, investors, and designers, technologists. So definitely anxious to get to know more folks here. And I'm also still working with the Boston Consulting Group. I was the first and only entrepreneur in residence at BCG Digital Ventures, which is focuses on corporate venture, where we're building startups with BCG corporate clients.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Next up, Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Falcon. I am a managing director at LG Technology Ventures, which is the corporate venture capital arm of LG Holding Company. We are a relatively new CVC, corporate venture capital organization. We were started in 2018. We are located in the Bay Area of California, although I'm actually in Austin, Texas is where I work. And so I do quite a bit of traveling. I've been doing venture capital for over 13 years, primarily at financial VC firms. And again, I joined LG Tech Ventures about 2.5 years ago. Before that, I've done a couple of different startups. So that's a little bit about myself.
All right. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Diana.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. So I'm part of Deltech Capital. We're the venture arm of Dell Technologies. We're a small subsidiary of Dell Tech. We treat them essentially as one of our limited partners, well, the only limited partner. We're financially motivated, so we invest in early stage startups, Series A, Series B. We deploy about $150 million a year. The group was founded in 2012. I've been with the team for about 2 years now. And yeah, so we invest in enterprise technologies, and yeah, looking forward to meeting everybody.
All right, great. Well, first off, thank you for taking your time introducing yourself. Let's start off with what kind of startups do you guys, I know Diane talked about it, what kind of startups do you guys look into? Are you guys looking to seed or Series A, Series B? And what kind of industries and techs are you specifically focused on? Why don't we go with Michael first this time, and then go with Elijah.
So LG Tech Ventures has about $500 million under management, $425 million. So quite a bit of new capital that LG put into this organization. We work with 5 limited partners, all LG Group companies, so LG Electronics, LG Display, LG Chemical, and LG Energy Solutions, LG CNS, which is a multi-billion-dollar IT system integrator, and LG U+, of course, a telco in Korea. So we typically focus on Series A, B, and C investments, although we will look at later stage, and sometimes we will look at seed stage, depending on the check size. In terms of our investment thesis, we have a very broad investment thesis. As I mentioned, 5 LPs have very diverse interests. And so for us, we look at anything from lithium battery technologies, which of course LG is one of the world leading suppliers in that area for electric vehicles and consumer electronics. Of course, LG Display is a leader in OLED technologies for their televisions and displays. And of course, LG Electronics does almost everything, it seems like, including automotive, of course, is a big area from a business perspective. So we, the way we look at things, to sum up, is that we invest in technologies that support the LG ecosystem, which is pretty expansive.
Okay, thank you. Diana, how about for you guys?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, mostly enterprise infrastructure for us. So we invest in any companies that are looking at B2B software products. So that could be cloud infrastructure, automation through AI, IoT systems, developer tools, essentially anything you can think of that has relevance to a data center, we will take a look at, and kind of just looking at all the new technologies as well. I will mention that, again, like, we're financially driven, so we don't require a business unit to sign off on any of our investments. So it's really the managing directors, of which there are 7, that make all the investment decisions. And so we're just looking for strategic alignment if it's there, but if it's not there, we just really want to build good companies and look for exciting technologies.
Investments in companies you invest in?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
We follow on most of the time. I think it's very rare for us if we don't follow on.
Okay, great. And how about Michael? I'm guessing for LG Ventures is the same. You guys are relatively new, so.
No, that's correct. We're actually quite active. We're almost doing a deal a month these days. Our check size is between $1 million and $10 million, but I'd say on average it's $3 to $5 million. I mean, you could go to LG Tech Ventures. We have, I don't know, 25, 30 portfolio companies or something like that. And yes, we will typically do our pro rata share of follow-on investment, assuming that the company is performing properly.
I see. Great. And Elijah, how about you guys? what kind of companies you guys look into, and what kind of industries are you guys focusing on?
Yeah, so Level On, we are largely super early stage. So we are working with a lot of solopreneurs, so literally going from napkin to concept. So pretty early on that side. In fact, one of the ventures that we most recently made a small investment in is in the NFT space, and it's been a hot topic. There's not many companies, you know, with the exception of Top Shop, that have been around for very long, right? And then on the flip side, when I'm working with BCG, it's almost exclusively very, very late stage. In fact, B Capital Group is our venture arm, and we're looking usually at growth equity, Series B plus. So a lot of B themes on that side.
I see. That's great. That's great. Oh, looks like we lost Diana.
Hope I didn't say something offensive there.
Well, hopefully she'll come back. So in the meantime, you know, these are, oh, I think she's coming back. These are foreign companies, you know, these are Korean startups, Asian startups, and they want to come to the US. They want to get US investment, these Korean, Asian startups. And what kind of advice can you give to these companies on how to attract US investors, how to present in front of them? And also, what kind of due diligence do you guys do when you go through these applications? Why don't we start with Diana first?
Sure. So I think the advice is the same for any type of company, whether you're international or not. You need a really clear story, a really simple story of how you're going, what your product is and what the market is and how you're going to attack it. Go to market is super duper important. So obviously focusing on that and making sure that that's a valid, that you have a valid way of attaining that market, and also the right team to go after that as well. For due diligence, in terms of us, we do typical due diligence. So we want to talk to the customers, we want to talk to the team, and then we do a legal, obviously a legal full check. I think for international companies coming in, if you're looking at the US market, obviously getting like a Delaware Corp makes things a lot easier, and getting a US entity established just makes things easier for US investors to take a look at you.
I see. Thank you so much. Let's go with Elijah next.
Yeah, so I think number one, regardless of territory expansion, is product market fit. You know, if there's already validation in the local territory, then definitely we want to best understand, you know, how deep is that validation, and then will that fit in the U.S. market. And it's not just a, you know, an economic desirability or market fit. You know, this is a user experience. Is there actual customer love, not just like, but love and stickiness, and even to a certain extent an addiction to the product. And if we could prove that that exists and that can translate in the US market, we're all about figuring out how to accelerate that with our resources beyond just capital as well.
I see. Thank you. And Michael?
You know, from a due diligence perspective, it's similar to has what already been said. We, you know, we're both financial investors and strategic investors, but you know, we look at any investment just like a financial VC. So we'll look at it from a customer traction perspective, management team, the technology, how defensible is it, products, and so forth, the competitive landscape. In terms of advice, in terms of attracting UC investment dollars, I think is one of your questions. Again, doing these type of events, I think is a good start, a good way for startups to be exposed to investors. And obviously, you know, from our point of view, just like probably many financial and CVC investors, you know, being able to get be referred to an organization like us makes the job easier from a filtering perspective. So whether it's through a law firm that the startup's working with, or a financial accounting firm, or another CVC or financial organization or other service organization, actually, you know, clearly makes things a little bit easier if it's a reference source deal versus compared to a cold call entry. And then, I mean, but LG, our organization invests worldwide, and so we're just looking for the best innovations across the world. And in terms of what we do is, you know, we like to find technology, since we are worldwide investors, we like to find technologies that One, depending on the sector, could be brought back to Korea, or maybe the startups are already in Korea. So for example, LGU Plus, since they are Korea focused, they're looking for AR, VR content is a big area for them to showcase their 5G network. So if it's a startup that's in Korea, or if it's a startup someplace in the United States or around the world, we're looking to understand if that company already has a partnership with a Korean partner, a distributor or representative or something, and we could assist them. But it works both ways. Obviously, LG has a strong presence in the United States and elsewhere. So technologies that are developed in Korea that might want to go after organizations or markets in the United States is another way. So we flow back and forth.
I see. Oh, well, that's great. Well, kind of building off of that. So nowadays we're seeing a growing trend of just different diverse sources of revenue or investments that startups can get. There's, crowdfunding, there's other types of investments. So it's difficult for VCs to, source their startups and find the best of the best. Have you found that this trend has been difficult for your organization, and have you changed your approach on how you source? Let's start with Elijah first.
Yes. So, I mean, quite frankly, I think the more diverse pockets of capital that entrepreneurs can pull from, the better. I don't feel like venture should be exclusive to the VC club, and so these new forms of crowdfunding, I think are quite interesting. I think the verdict's still out and how effective they can be, obviously, right? One of the great things I like about, equity-backed crowdfunding is your investors are likely going to be your customers as well, right? So similar to like a Kickstarter where you're going to pre-purchase the product, but now it's in addition to owning whatever product they're subscribing to from your venture, they're also owning some of that upside, so into that success. So quite frankly, I'm a big fan of it. But, I can also imagine it getting quite hairy later, and then also where traditional VC still has some advantages is, where they could roll up their sleeves and get access to certain stakeholders, particularly if you have a B2B venture. A lot of your investors or VCs particularly might be able to help augment some of your business development efforts. So those are kind of my two kind of views on that.
That's amazing. I definitely know that there's a lot of VCs out there, if they see investors in crowdfunding, they get scared off. But yeah, I'll definitely pass the question along to Michael.
From a deal sourcing or sourcing deals perspective, I think that's the topic. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, when I think of the deals that LG Tech Ventures typically does, I would say it's primarily business to business, for lack of a better term. And so most of those sourcing comes from networking with other financial and corporate investors, obviously within certain areas. So if LG Chemical is looking for a certain type of biodegradable plastic, there are a number of companies in that space, large companies that also are investors. So we will share deal flow among each other. And we do some business to consumer B2C investing. Again, some AR, VR content creation that LGU Plus may be interested in. So again, that may come from different events like this, or it may come from other financial VCs or other activities, or maybe even the business units or group companies themselves within LG.
I see. And Diana, how about for you guys?
Yeah, I'd say deal sourcing. There's a ton of deals out there right now. Lots of companies, lots of capital out there as well to capture. And as you mentioned, obviously different ways of getting that capital. I think if you're going down the venture route, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to be sure that that's what you want to do, because you're going to be giving up some control of your company, some equity in your company. And it doesn't fit all businesses, and there are other ways to fund a business and make it successful. So I would just say that If you're going down the crowdfunding route, you're probably you might have a harder time raising venture because it is, as Elijah said, it can get hairy after a while. So it's just a matter of knowing how you're going to go about building your company, and that kind of dictates what financing you're going to do.
I see. And talking about financing, for VCs or CVCs like you guys might not know, or you guys might know, the Korean government provides a lot of support for Korean startups. They provide a lot of grants, a lot of money for zero equity, a lot of tax benefits, and they also do what they call research and development grants. So any foreign investment that Korean startups can get, the Korean government will match it. With this, with knowing this, how would it increase your positive perspective on Korean startups when you meet them, or would it actually be a deterrent and a red flag when you know that a government entity is supporting these companies, or several government entities? Let's go with Michael first.
Sure. I mean, from my perspective, if it's a government entity that's providing some kind of matching grants that's non-dilutive, fantastic. And again, this is. Of course, LG is quite familiar, obviously, with the Korean infrastructure. But even wearing my financial VC hat, which I've been doing for quite some time, 10+ years, again, if a company in Korea or some other part of the world is able to tap into to non-dilutive government grants, fantastic. I think that's good. It would not sway me at all, unless there's some kind of significant burden due to overhead or due to some kind of exclusivity, which I don't typically see.
Okay, yeah, that's great. We'll go to Diana next, and then Elijah.
Yeah, I'd agree with Michael. I'm not familiar with the program by the Korean government specifically, but I've seen the Canadian, the UK kind of versions of that, and there's no kind of issue. It's just and obviously US as well, but. Yeah, so I think as long as there aren't some difficult provisions or KPIs or something that is, not necessary overhead, more capital, better for the company at the end of the day. So.
Exactly. And Elijah, I'm guessing you are the same viewpoint.
Yeah, just piggybacking on Michael and Diana. Yeah, more capital the better. That's just more runway. However, that said, as long as there's no strings attached, right? Or as long as the strings attached aren't super onerous or violate data security issues, things like that, or exclusivity. Then I think it's
we'll do two more questions and then wrap this up. So our next question, a lot of startups, they find it very difficult talking and presenting to VCs or CVCs. What are some key pet peeve that you have or red flags that immediately you will reject a startup if you see this? I'll let you guys think a little bit, and then we'll start with Diana first.
Sure. So the biggest pet peeve is not knowing the focus of where we invest. So it's very clear on our website and on all of our, if you look us up, enterprise technology, enterprise software, and some hardware, but the amount of kind of startups that we see, in my inbox that are not related to that is quite a lot. And it's just a waste of, quite frankly, the founder's time to write up an email that isn't going to be a good fit. So I think if you, if anything, when you're pitching to VCs, just be sure that they're in your market.
I see. And then we'll go with Elijah and then Michael.
Yeah, so my biggest pet peeve is I don't like getting a novel. So I've gotten pitched literally like a book. I love just bullets. I love things in tweets basically. And so just as long as the entrepreneur is super concise and specific with what they want, their value proposition and just some basic stats, I'm a huge fan of that. If I have to pull that out myself in a long email, that's quite painful. So that's my biggest pet peeve is, just not having to, I love data, don't get me wrong, give it to me later. when I want it, when I ask for it, but don't upfront intro.
How about you, Michael?
I wouldn't say it's a pet peeve, but it's a recommendation, because I talk to companies, large startups that have 150 people and they're raising $200 million. And I talk to some startups that have 3 people and they're raising $1 million. And so there's a certain expectation that's set when you talk to this company. So I would like to know, I typically actually ask 3 questions to help myself get calibrated. It's, when was the company founded? What's their head count? And how much money have they raised to date? And if there's like a summary slide about that and what the company does up front, I think that makes the whole presentation go better. So if I was an entrepreneur or CEO pitching that, I'd make certain to have that executive summary up front, because again, there's much different. My expectations are much higher if the company's raising $100 million and they already have 250 employees versus 2 or 3 people that are just raising seed money for the first time.
I see. Well, that is great advice as well. So last question is, sorry, dry throat. So have been asking, especially foreign startups trying to reach U.S. partners, U.S. clients, U.S. investors, what's the best way to reach these people and be noticed? Because they're asking, should we have a LinkedIn premium account and do it email, or should we email them, or should we find some sort of connection to be warm or cold introduced to them? So they're asking, what's the best way to reach to a CVC, VC, or US partner? This time we'll start with you, Michael.
Yeah, so I touched on this a little bit earlier, and just to reiterate, if you can if the deal could be like referred from a trusted source, that actually puts you in my mind, higher in the stack, so to speak. So if you're working with a law firm that helped you incorporate or do some of your patents, whatever that law firm may be, they have, obviously, those law firms deal with all the different financial VC and CVCs out there as the deals close. And so if I get one from a law firm that I know, I'm going to look at it. Or if it's from an accounting firm or some other service firm, there's bankers out there, advisors that do some of that. And there's it's a little bit mixed at that case, but it just depends. But those are definitely ways to I guess put yourself at the top of the hill. From that perspective.
I see. Let's go with Diana and then Elijah.
Yeah, I'd agree with Michael. If you can get a warm intro, that's always the best. If you can do it, send an email, but a well-targeted email. As Elijah said, short bullets to the right people. I don't think you need like a LinkedIn premium or anything like that. Like you can just try and connect with people and try to see how, or just track them or get their emails otherwise and do it that way. But yeah, it's hard, but warm intros are possible, and just emailing straight up also works. You just have to be targeted about it.
Thank you. And for you, Elijah?
Yeah, I look at fundraising almost identical to business development and sales. So particularly if you're a B2B venture, then fundraising ought to be easy for you. And if it's not, then you're probably not having an easy time with your B2B sales. And if you're doing B2B sales, you probably want a LinkedIn premium account as well. So you could probably just write those expenses off as kind of one. But that said, I would also treat fundraising similar to kind of a sales funnel, just prospecting, and then how are you going to connect with these investors? And, I'm a big fan of a concentric circle strategy. Both Michael and Diana kind of hinted at it with, getting advocates or referrals, because if you can get a referral selling on your behalf, that just adds a whole lot of credibility. And if that could be your tip of the spear, it just kind of really helps, one, wedge the door open, and two, ensure that the pipe is warm and you're well received.
I know I said last question, but this is with you during the networking session. What are some hobbies or interests you have? What do you like to do during your free time? We'll start with Elijah, Diana, and then Michael.
Oh man, well, actually this one, I was about to mention this in the last question, but lately I've been jumping into Clubhouse a lot. And it's been quite interesting because one, you can actually get some good deal flow. There's a lot of VCs that are on Clubhouse right now. And if you can get onto a stage, you could actually pitch a VC in a very casual way. That's not super formal or traditional. But anyhow, lately I've been spending a lot of time on Clubhouse, and what I always tell myself is like, oh, I'll just pop on for 5 minutes, and then I find myself on for like 5 hours. It's crazy. So that's kind of my new fun little hobby for now. But otherwise, I've got 2 little kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, that I'm obsessed with. I'm surprised they've let me give you guys my undivided attention, because otherwise they'd be on my lap. So that's I
believe Korea is one of the biggest market for Clubhouse. It just exploded there. So of course Koreans love using Clubhouse, and they're familiar with it. How about you, Diana?
Sure. So my background's in data science, so I love to kind of explore data sets online, build them into different visualizations and stuff like that. And then I love doing things like this, diving into VC communities and meeting new people. So I'm unfortunately a second-class citizen when it comes to VC. So I don't have an iPhone, I have a Samsung, so I can't join Clubhouse yet, but hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. And how about you, Michael?
I mean, for me, I imagine just like everybody, I find myself doing a lot of reading, both obviously during the work hours for work, and then I'm a technologist at heart, so reading even outside of work, obviously work hours, doing that. From a hobby perspective, I enjoy getting out and being outdoors, whether it's playing golf or stuff like that, which is COVID-friendly sport for the most part. And I guess lastly is being in Texas. Bourbons have always been popular in Texas, so I enjoy dabbling with bourbons and other drinks like that with buddies.
Nice. Definitely here. We have a lot of breweries here in Austin as well. So hopefully we'll go out for drinks after all this is over. Well, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully the startups learn so much about the VC and CVC community here in US, and how you should approach investors and how they can better their business. Please stick around afterwards, and I'm sure the startups will love to meet with you. And we're going to do a small commercial break now, and then continue on with the second half of the pitch event. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
MediaTech Ventures unifies founders and technology to make the most of capital investment in this industry. We focus on startups that leverage, can scale, and are fixing media through technology.
So we play in the space of every industry by default, almost. And now more than ever, people are relying on media to give them the right information.
Startup incubators, venture programs such as Funded House, specialized curriculum for founders and platforms for innovation in media. Society knows how to thrive in this evolved economy.
We can still connect as humans digitally. And I think now more than ever, we have the technology to do so.
As we all redefine how to work with public, private, and corporate interests, an example of evolved media, our incubator collective is seeing 25% of the startups seed funded while still in the program, helping demystify media innovation and venture funding.
And so we want to continue to pursue those types of relationships, but also make sure that the content and the conversations are still providing value in substance, right, to the communities that we serve.
Excelling media, scaling technology requires a unique, unfair advantage, and MediaTech Ventures has the experience, technology, and resources to help you do just that. Media evolves. Join us in the future of media.
I started Collective for a variety of reasons. I think creative entrepreneurs, especially in Central Texas, need a vehicle to help them better understand how to launch companies, and the resources and the mentors and the professional team to help them bring their ideas to life.
man, it's been a hell of a ride. Definitely coming in from day one, I was coming in bright-eyed, trying to learn everything, and it definitely provided all the knowledge that I was seeking to acquire.
Having gone through the process of learning how to, do things like filling out your cap table or doing the baseline research and knowing what to focus your attention on, those are the things that I was looking to get out of this experience, and those are the things that I got out of this experience.
I feel like I have gotten a lot of information I didn't have, and also better confidence in pitching.
I think the weekly practice was helpful because I got to work through the nerves.
We've got a great network of the mentors here.
I learned so much from the startups. I can never thank them enough for how much I learned.
I'm confident because I have the background and the knowledge that I know that has been vetted and worked with through my advisors and mentors that I have in this class.
I went from knowing basically nothing to being able to do a 5-minute pitch that was informed enough that anybody that asked me questions today, I could actually answer them with confidence.
I feel a lot more confident now. I know what I'm talking about. I just understand what I'm doing and what this process is going to be. Yeah, I know who to talk to, and when something needs to get done, I know at least how to begin the process of getting it done.
It definitely helped in just going through the 12 weeks from day one to now. It's like a huge improvement.
To have a mechanism and a vehicle for them to be able to bring opportunity to entrepreneurs that are hungry to make solutions and drive impact and change is something that we're very passionate about doing, and we look forward to doing in a really big way.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully our judges are ready. Our first startup for our second half is KOTRA. If you love shoes, especially heels, then this startup is for you.
Hi, can I start? Okay, hi everyone, I'm Somang, co-founder of KOTRA. We're a shoe brand that fits women with comfortable heels from their phones. Next slide, please. I've met my co-founder Joe at a consulting firm where we bonded over complaining about our shoes. We felt like as women, we always had to choose between looking professional and being comfortable. After I had ankle surgery to correct issues arising from a lifetime of wearing bad heels, I became obsessed with foot comfort, and the idea for KOTRA was born. Next slide. There's a slide before this, previous slide. The problem here is, quite frankly, that women's shoes suck. The majority of women suffer from them, and they can lead to health issues, as they did in my case. The reason why shoes are so uncomfortable is primarily because of poor fit. No two feet, including your own left and right foot, are exactly alike, and yet we're forced to choose or buy shoes in preset sizes. So 78% of people end up with a poor fit. And because there's no way to find the right fit other than through trial and error, $15 billion worth of shoes are returned every year. Next slide, please. But getting women's shoes right is difficult. There are 4 main customer pain points that are fit, comfort, choice, and branding. When it comes to fit, shoe shopping is a real slog because, well, either you have to hop from store to store trying on dozens of pairs, or order tons of shoes online and know that you'll return most of them. In fact, 35% of shoes bought online are returned, one of the highest return rates in e-commerce. And when it comes to comfort, the industry focuses exclusively on churning out as many colors and styles as possible, which with little thought to functionality or ergonomics. And when it comes to choice and branding, we're stuck in a crowded marketplace with little differentiation and almost no standout brands. What is the women's shoe equivalent of Allbirds? There is none. At Kadagudu, we aim to solve for all of these pain points, starting with that of fit. Next slide, please. Our fit solution allows women to get sized directly from their phones. All they need to do is take one photo of each foot, and our software will extract their measurements and pre-fill their order, taking all the guesswork out of shopping online. Next, when it comes to comfort, we've re-engineered the high heel with the functionality of sneakers, creating the kind of shoes that we've always wanted to have. Next, when it comes to choice, we've streamlined choice by offering a curated capsule of timeless classics, the kind of basic classic shoes that are the staple of every woman's wardrobe. And when it comes to branding, next, we've created a handmade in Korea brand that really speaks to comfort and craftsmanship, and we believe has global appeal. Next, the market for women's shoes is over $120 billion. Of this, $15 billion is spent online, the fastest growing retail channel. We aim to grow our brand, our revenue to $5 million within 3 years. Next, please. And we'll do this by selling to consumers directly from our Shopify site. We're targeting professional women in cities such as New York, London, Seoul, and Singapore, and selling our shoes at about $170. So who's our competition? Next slide, please. While there are a lot of direct-to-consumer brands out there, we believe none have perfectly solved the three-pronged problem of fit, comfort, and style. When it comes to tech-enabled fit, we only have one real competitor, but their tech is pretty difficult to use and they're priced at the luxury segment, leaving a wide gap in the market for us. So what makes us unique? Next slide, please. We believe that our competitive advantage is how easy our tech is to use. Taking a photo from your phone is second nature to most people, and we're amassing a ton of data on feet, allowing us to get better at understanding both fit and demand. Next slide, please. And we've also identified growth opportunities in the future, both as a leading consumer brand and as a B2B solutions provider, leveraging our data on fit and demand. And we're looking for opportunities to grow our audience in the US. So please let us know about media and partnership opportunities. Thank you.
All right. I mean, that's amazing. I'll love to, if I wore heels, I'll love to find the perfect fit heels myself. Next up is Etasoft. If you love fishing, you're an outdoors lover, this is the company for you. Etasoft, you are up.
Before I start my presentation, I want to show you the video. Please have a look. Video, please.
Hala's Fishing Grip is an IoT-based fishing grip that enables you to measure the length and the weight at once. It can measure up to 44 pounds and 78 inches in length. It displays the length and weight information on the LCD screen. Due to its pistol-shaped appearance, you can use the grip easily for both lefties and righties. When you take a picture of a fish with Hala's application paired with Bluetooth, you are able to refer to the information regarding its length, weight, etc. Also, a fishing operation status such as weather, location, and the tide time displayed on the picture. You can charge it with micro 5-pin connector and use it over 30 hours on 10-hour standby. Hala's fishing grip is verified with waterproof, dustproof, and durability test.
With a specification of 11-inch and 0.57 pound.
You can easily carry it on your way anywhere. Hala's fishing grip.
Hello everyone, my name is Jack. I'm a medium. Next. Our company was founded in 2012 and currently has 11 employees. We have 2 corporations. One is in Korea, the other one is United States. Next. We are an IT company that makes website and mobile application. Next. Okay. I want to tell you about fishing market in the United States. The fishing market in the United States is really huge. Next. There are 74 million anglers in the United States. They created $51 billion. Next. It's higher than Lockheed Martin, Intel, Chrysler, or Google. It's really incredible market. Next. The product what I'm going to introduce is fishing grip. It's the world first fishing grip called Haras. Haras means fisherman in Hungarian. We launched this interesting product in June of last year. Next. Haras fishing grip has the function of catching fish same as others. However, it can measure the length and weight of fish at the same time. Next. It can be connected to a mobile app through Bluetooth to store and transmit data. Next. When you take a photo on Haras app, you will see the measurement information and also the fishing information, such as date, weather, and location. Next. You can also check the fish species with our application. We have an international quality certificate such as FCC and CE, and also have applied for international patent for the global market. Next. Next, please. You can also enjoy SNS online and fishing tournament with Haras app. Again, the only product in the world that measures both weight and length at the same time is Haras. Next. Even when comparing products, next. And platform, next. And technology, ours are showing superiority. Next. Next, please. Next. We successfully completed Kickstarter funding last year. In a short period, 250 backers participated and made over $100,000. Next. Our target sales volume is 280,000 pieces by 2024. If you calculate the profit, it's over $11 million. We have already started sales in Korea and Japan. Next. To open up the US market, we will invest intensively in advertising and hire high quality people. Of course, it will cost a lot in the beginning, but I'm sure it will be able to dominate the world market, starting with the US market. Evaluate our value and invest in our future. Thank you very much.
All right, that's great. If you guys love fishing or bragging to your friends about what kind of fish you caught, then Hayas or ATOSoft is for you. Our next company is ZetaBank. Definitely. You may start.
Okay. Next page. Next, please. Oh, next, please. Across the globe, the COVID-19 outbreak has caused considerable pain and suffering. It also made it unsafe to go into many of the public spaces. Next page, please. We are used to being in such as government institutions and hospitals. Next page, please. I'm Yalin Choi, manager of ZetaBank. To solve this problem, we have collaborated with pharmaceutical companies to create ZetaBot, AI-enabled autonomous disinfection robot to help prevent the spread of infectious diseases. Next page, please. The healthcare-focused device automatically confirms a personal identity, checks temperature, presence of mask, and provides hand sanitizer. Our disinfection robot uses air purification, ultraviolet light, and ethanol sanitization. For disinfection service robot, we help the cleaning and janitorial staff to do their job more efficiently and effectively. Next page, please. For our robot, we have 3 disinfection methods, which is air purification, ethanol sanitization, and ultraviolet light. Next. So this is our technology. We have 3 methods of disinfection, and later on we're gonna have air decontamination. Next. And collecting, analyzing, and utilizing providing disinfection methods through air purification, ultraviolet light, and ethanol sanitization. Next. Compared to other companies do not have the 3 disinfection method, but our company has 3 disinfection methods. Next. This is our list of the test reports. Next. And this is our list of our IP. Next. Next. ZetaBot is the next evolution in growing disinfection market, which last year surpassed $1 billion. Next. We received support from several provincial governments in Korea, and we have been collaborating with Intel and Photo. Next. And this is later on, we're gonna apply air decontamination technology that is NASA approved. Next. Oh, it was the video. This is ether sanitization using alcohol. Next. Next. Our CEO has 23 years of IT experience in the areas of hardware, software, and content. Next. Next. And our CTO and CFO has experience of their area for 30 years. Next. We are Java Bank, and we've created Java to help keep public spaces and environmental safe. Next.
All right, thank you. That's amazing. I wish I had those robots in my building, in my house as well. All right, next up is Seikei Material Labs. If you love using your smartphone, whether it's streaming or gaming, and you want to make that experience even better, then this company is for you.
Hello, thank you for selecting us to be a part of this event today. My name is Yang from CK Materials Lab, and I will begin with the company overview. Next, please. CK Materials Lab was founded in 2013, and we specialize in applications with haptic feedback based on unique smart materials. But what is haptic feedback? Haptic feedback is the use of touch to communicate with users. And one good example is when you play a racing game, your phone rumbles and vibrates according to how well or how bad you drive on the screen. But when you crash into a wall or other cars, your phone vibrates, and that's haptic feedback. And we aim to connect people closer by sharing the real touch through haptic feedback. Next, please. According to one study, Americans spend an average time of 5 hours and 40 minutes on their mobile phones every day, and online content market is growing so fast. But our experience is limited to auditory and visual senses. And as a haptic expert, we want people to really feel their favorite games and TV shows. Next, please. And this is how we came up with an idea to apply our haptic technology, Beat Touch, to invent a smartphone accessory, BeatPad. BeatPad analyzes and transforms sound into haptic feedback in real-time response, so people can enjoy their time much better with more realistic experience. And all you need to do is to simply connect BeatPad to your smartphone via USB port and enjoy your time. It's for anybody who enjoys spending time on mobile phone. Next, please. What is so unique about our product is that BeatPad produces strong rhythmical beats that it gives you for real time for the experience. And with that, you can maximize your immersion level. Some of the games might have vibration effects, but that's not really good enough to feel the game. And also, when you're watching YouTube or Netflix, they don't give you any haptic feedback for you to feel the contents. And it's very convenient because it doesn't require any additional applications, extra settings, and it's also very light in weight, making it easy to carry around. Next, please. We developed different kinds of haptic actuators, and we call them Beat Touch series. And one of it has been applied to BeatPad. Beat Touch is a new concept haptic technology and solution that can realize diverse and rich haptic sensations. And we have over 60 patents related to haptics around the world and 17 in the US. Next. What we're trying to do is creating new product positioning from game consoles and smartphone covers with our unique technology. And our target is over-the-top media service market. Next, please. An over-the-top media service is a streaming media service offered directly to people with the use of internet like Netflix and YouTube. And this market size is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 29.4% by 2027. We started small with a smartphone accessory, but this doesn't stop here, and we want to expand our business even further. Next, please. So this is our business model. In response to the increased demand for mobile contents and rapid changes in the media market, we plan to supply haptic-based devices to people, and we're going to generate profits through collaboration with global OTT service providers. Next, please. This is the milestones, and in 2018, we started with haptic actuators. And just last year, we launched the smartphone accessory BeatPad. And with this, we want to position our product as a must-have item for everyone. And starting from 2024, we plan to launch haptic-based home applications such as haptic cushion and user-friendly accessories. Next, please. And in order for us to successfully enter the US market and build ourselves, we're looking for $20 million in funds for various activities, as well as network with OTT service providers. Next, please. At CK Materials Lab, there are 22 of us. We have members working on hardware engineering, production, management, and sales. We are a team of many years of experience and expertise in our fields, and we've been working together for a long time with a common goal. And now we're more than ready to go to the US market and into the world. Next, please. We're looking for potential partners to work with us, and we look forward to hearing from you during the networking session later. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right, that was amazing. Can't wait to start using some BeatPad for my phone and when I play games and watch Netflix. Our next company is Kuki. If you love K-pop or music in general, then this is the company for you. Kuki, you are up.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, let me start. Hi everyone, this is Cookie. 7 years ago, I was once a hip-hop artist. I wrote my own songs, and even I had an agency to promote me. My songs were streamed about 1 million times, and I was very happy and excited that so many people enjoyed my music. But guess what I've earned for that streaming? It's just $300. So can you believe this? Next, please. It was just this slide. So next, please. Can this be the problem for everyone or just me? We've searched how many artists remain in the market in 5 years. And shockingly, we found out that they earned, found out they earned even lesser than what I have earned from this so-called music industry. And they vanished from the market in less than a year. It's true, they have few ways to make money before they grow out to be a real stars. Next, please. As you can guess, many trials are being made to make this happen, like YouTube Super Chat or other online streaming platforms. But YouTube is too big platform for nameless pop fans to gather and make profit. So we found an opportunity in making a profitable live chat streaming service specialized only for this rookie pop artist. So now 720,000 hours of videos are now uploaded in YouTube daily. Then, if you are a newcomer artist to this music market, can you reach your future fans? Can you reveal yourself and make profit? So I don't think so. So this is our mission, successfully linking the artist to fans, even when they are not publicly known. So basically, we create music-based Twitch kind of platform. Next, please. Artists can make additional income by meeting fans online. And fans also are able to fund their not yet famous idols. With these features, Cookie will become a valuable monetizing art platform for all upcoming artists. Next, please. So here are 3 key features which help direct fan engagement. We provide a real-time live broadcast service anytime like Twitch. Artists can receive sponsorship in real time, play and promote their upcoming songs live, and sell their music online. And lastly, they can also send personalized messages. So all these features are focused on how can artists reach new fans efficiently and make profit. These features help artists cater to their fans specifically not just dealing with just general public. So Cookie can help monetize the relationship between artists and fans, and we start from the K-pop market. Next, please. To lower the language barrier for users, we provide 1 multilingual service and 2 real-time translation. Artist contents can be translated into 30 different languages to reach fans from all over the world in a second. Artists also can do that so that they can be connected. Next, please. Now you know that I was once a K-pop artist, and also K-pop music is exploding in popularity around the world. You can see this rapidly growing interest and the resulting market size here. It is like $15 billion US. Just looking at the K-pop fan market, it's $7.9 billion US. And the biggest market for K-pop is here in the United States. Next, please. Let me briefly explain the nature of K-pop fandom. It's quite different from other artist fan bases, like fans of Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande. K-pop fans, they enthusiastically support their idols in the same way that Americans support football teams. So next, please. So the market is exploding and our customer is very enthusiastic. With these great features and market conditions, our app has already won several awards in Korea and is growing now. Next, please. Here's our plan. We expect 5 million number of users in 5 years. And next, please. And we have great team members with experience both in the music industry and technical support. Our goal is to be the #1 K-pop platform for fans around the world. We are now looking for strategic partners in US. So let's see you soon in a later networking session. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cookie. If you are a K-pop fan or even you know about K-pop, then you know this is the app and service for you. Our next company is Roborizon. If you love robotics or if you love teaching your kids about robotics and coding, then this is the company for you. Roborizon, you're up.
This is Sang-bin of Roborizon. Next, please. We are experts in robotics. Everyone will enjoy their life with our robot. Next. There are 2 types of robots in the world. The first is too simple robot. It is very easy, but bored. The other is too difficult robot. It is very extensible, but easily give up. So we developed easy and extensible robot. As a result, we can make most of robot within 1 minute. Next, please. We applied minimalism to robotics. We could make any robot with just 1 kind of module. Next. With a single module, we can make most of robots in YouTube within 1 minute. Next. 1 hour job with other robots can be reduced 1 minute. Everybody will be free to make a robot with this technology. Next. We decide to share this robot with everyone. We open data of hardware, protocol, and sensors to everyone. Next. It realizes your thinking to a real robot. This is open platform robot ping pong. Next. They say about this ping pong robot, oh, this is Lego for robotics. Yes, everyone will enjoy their life with Lego of robotics. Ping pong. Next. We are focused by CS, Disney, and MoMA. This will extend to the global. Next. The target market starts from toy and educational field and expands to our life. Next. Ping pong is more funny and extensible compared to other best-selling robots in the world. Next. And ping pong will be loved by people with fidget application. Next. With a great ping pong team, we launched last year in Korea and will extend to global this year. Next, please. To bring robot to everyone's life, we will make open platform business with ping pong. And we are now here to invite investor and partner. Let's enjoy the movie of ping pong. Next, please.
Ping pong!
With just one module, you can make this robot and cat robot, climber robot, and game, and some funny things, kind of a sensor application. And with two modules, you can make various kind of robots like this, cars, and moving things, or crapboard. And it's cleaning robot, as you can see. It's an acrobatic robot. It is drawing robot and kind of human bot. With 3 cubes, it is you can make a kind of a toy robot and drawing something. And Lego robot can be by ping pong robot. With 4 cubes, there are so many robots like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If you guys love Legos and robots, then this is the company for you. That was our last company. So judges, please finish filling out your judge forms, and we will take a small break, and we will come back and announce the winners. And after that, we will be doing our networking session. During the networking session, judges and people who want to meet with the stars, please remember, use the tables in the middle. The side tables, you can go there as well, but they're usually reserved for the judges only or the stars only. So meet up in the tables in the middle. Us, Bisang Global, and MediaTech Ventures will be at one of the side tables if you need support and help. Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank everybody for showing up. The networking portion is about to begin. So for those of you that joined on and we were in the viewing session, as soon as we're out of presenter mode, it's going to look very different. It's going to be a lot of tables. So all you need to do is double click on tables to go back and forth between all of them. And for Michael and Diana, Michael, if you could post up at table 14 and Diana at table 18, that'd be fantastic. We'll send some folks your way. Also look out for some chat notes as well when you get a moment. All right, we'll be right back with the judges' scores here in a moment.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna announce the winner. Let's do some drum roll. All right, and our top 2 winners coming in at second place is KOTRA Gudu. Congratulations, KOTRA Gudu. And drum roll, our first place winner is RoboRizen. RoboRizen, congratulations. Congratulations to all the teams. All the scores have been extremely close. This could have been anyone's day. We will be sending out the judges' scores and notes to you, to all the startups afterwards. But after this is over, remember, go to the tables, chat, connect with as many people as you can, and they will have questions. Make sure you are prepared to answer. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.